Hello and a warm welcome to our webinar session today. In the next 30 minutes, we will be introducing our TIA connector for SharePoint and talking about the topic archiving from SharePoint. Benny Schröder introduces us to the TIA connector for SharePoint and shows us how it can be used for legally compliant, fast and user-friendly archiving. Benny Schröder is our CTO and he has been part of KGS for 12 years now. And as CTO, he is responsible for the areas development and delivery. He has almost 15 years of experience in managing and implementing projects for document management software products. My name is Katharina Gerber. I am part of the KGS marketing team and I'm leading you through this session today. But first of all, I have a few things to take care of. If you have any questions, you can ask this question the whole webinar, and for this you can put the questions in the question tool in the chat panel. This webinar will be recorded the whole time so that we can send you the recording afterwards. And of course, after the webinar, we have enough time to answer your question that you put it in the chat. Before Benny gets started with today's topic, we prepared a little survey. And now I will display this survey. So the question is, what are your reasons? Why do you want to archive documents from SharePoint? So the first option is data management, reducing storage space used, or second option, compliance, so legally compliant storage of documents. Or maybe you have another reason why you want to archive documents from SharePoint. And now you can select the correct answer for you and click on it. And if you choose the other reason, the answer other reasons, so feel free to put this reason in the chat so that we can have a look on it. So now I give a couple of more seconds to answer this question. And so now I'm closing it and show you that's the final result is 100% of compliance. That's very interesting. And yeah, so now I'm looking forward for the session today, and I'm giving to Benny, and yeah, have fun.
Yeah, thanks, Katharina. So yeah, definitely interesting. So a huge majority, or 100%, are concerned about the compliance when using SharePoint and handling documents within SharePoint. So that was actually one of the main reasons we developed this connector, because we see kind of similar use cases from SharePoint than we have from SAP. So, but first, let me just give some infos, or add some infos about KGS itself. Just quite short intro. So KGS is more than 25 years in the market now. We consider ourselves as SAP archiving leading experts. We're in this niche of SAP archiving and document management since the very beginning. And nearly the same year we've been founded, we became an SAP partner in this area. So we'll say plus 20 years of SAP experience and SAP partnership. So we've been also early adopters in this field of SAP Archive Link, connecting it to storage appliances. And we also have been a certification partner in this area. So saying that, we have more than 500 customers up to now. steadily increasing, and the idea was to also give you the same experience we give with our products in the SAP archiving area, but with SAP Microsoft SharePoint instead. But we see the same ideas here of a lean, smart archiving approach instead of using full-blown DMS. Because that's actually what we do as KGS. So typically, winning new customers, meaning replacing existing, most likely complex, expensive ECM DMS environment systems, and we implement instead our lean and cost-effective archiving solutions. From our perspective, the archiving part is really the core of a DMS system. And in the combination with the leading app of SAP or SharePoint, they're mainly the same functionalities. So there's a quite huge overlap of functionalities, having workflows, doing document management, versioning and stuff, which are available in the leading apps today. So it was like an evolution on the leading app side, namely SAP. And then we came to the point that it's more effective to have an archiving system which enables you to do this very job, to have compliant archiving over a period of time. So that's in a nutshell what we do. But today we want to focus not on SAP only, but SharePoint, as mentioned, with the same idea of having this leading app using our middleware approach for storing documents in any storage, so to say, on-prem, any premise, but we'll start with that right now. We already had the survey, thanks for that. So yeah, let me start with our idea of providing an SAP archive to the SharePoint environment, so to say. So we think that the legally compliant archiving of documents, which are stored in SharePoint and Teams, is very attractive and also necessary. So documents stored in SharePoint and Teams can be archived with just a few clicks here, and with the solution. And just switch off my camera really quick, sorry. And the idea from the beginning was to provide an easy implementation without disruption. So existing SharePoint sites, documents, and even the structures like folders and directories can be used, and TIA SharePoint is set up centrally and added as needed. I will show you later. So, of course, we wanted to provide a secure archiving approach. To provide additional protection for the archive, there's no direct access to the entire archive from SharePoint cloud infrastructure, only to the document via the specifically or specially generated temporary link. So that's a feature of ours. We give you the opportunity to create a link, and this link will be only valid for a period of time you can set, and then afterwards it cannot be used anymore. So that's like externally sharing documents which have been archived, but in general the archive itself is not accessed directly, but only via SharePoint itself. So we wanted to have it individual and or automated. That means documents to be archived can be selectively determined by the user, and the archiving process itself can be triggered. Or alternatively, automated processes can be created, for example, based on labels or time controlled. So every document, let's say, which is older than 1 month, could be archived automatically. Yeah, again, legally compliant. So we also support legal holds which can prevent documents from being deleted. Plus, we support the retention management features from SharePoint itself, so interactively again, or in the archive itself. We wanted to have it flexible here, so we set up the system based on Power Automate flows, and those flows provided are fully functional and can be modified or integrated into existing flows or used directly. So the idea was also like providing an SDK approach of those flows, and customers using Power Automate are in the position to consume these flows from other processes as well, not only from SharePoint. The idea is to have a comprehensive solution, so all metadata and properties stored in SharePoint, like user, creation time, content type, length, etc., are also transferred to the archive. So possibly they could be used there from other apps, but that's nothing I'm going to touch on today. And at the end, give you an outlook about the next features. So let's proceed here. So how is the flow here? Just close the panels, just a second. So documents from SharePoint 365 or Teams can be archived. User authentications and authorizations and security settings are taken into account. So we start on the lower left. The user is using SharePoint, and at a certain point of time, he decided, okay, that's a final version, or that's a version I want to like check into the archive. And then secondly, the tier SharePoint solution was designed on the basis of Power Automate, I mentioned already, and provides action buttons that archive documents with all relevant information with just a few clicks. So the user is doing that, and this point of time, the document will be transferred, the flow will be triggered, the document content will be transferred to the archive, and then it's stored there with retention management, and the content is not longer in the SharePoint itself. So the third step, the original document is then replaced by a link that allows it to be viewed completely securely at any time. To give you an idea or just an overview about the solution. So of course we are in SharePoint 365. We implement a component called tier SharePoint here, which actually is the add-on for configuring and archiving UI add-on in the SharePoint site itself. From there, we are triggering the Power Automate flows, which address a web component called Tier Connect. And this Tier Connect is like a security gateway to the archive from the SharePoint to Tier Content Server CMIS. So Tier Content Server CMIS is the archive solution itself, and CMIS is a standard interface for content management, and that one is used here as well. CMIS, for those of you which are in the SAP archiving topic as well, it's also the new interface for all cloud related archiving approaches. So it stands for Content Management Interoperability Service, and as mentioned, it's an open and manufacturer independent standard for connecting archive systems. It's already, it has already been certified in the SAP environment itself, and it allows independent access to data even without SharePoint or SAP in theory. And to enable this, the metadata from SharePoint is added to the archive document, for example, customer number or retention times. So the app can be used in SharePoint with any loss of functionality. The documents will be archived, and with that, the content is moved to the content server. Saying that is that you can really decide in which site or library, document library in SharePoint you want to add the solution first, and then you can configure how the archiving is taken place here. So that means you decide where to put it, in which repository, and so on and so forth. I will show you in a minute. The deployment here could be any premise actually, so from both components, TR Connect and TR Content Server CMIS. So it could be, of course, in your on-prem or hosted environments. So it might be the same content server you're using with SAP archiving, but of course it could be all in Microsoft Azure, which probably makes sense here because you're coming from SharePoint 365. But in theory, it could be deployed anywhere. So that's what we tried to say here. And that gives you flexibility where to put it. And of course, document archiving might be still a topic for on-premise. And finally, we would also support any storage appliances here. So all the capabilities the TR Content Server itself provides in this area of connected storages, we also see here. On the left side, again, two processes. So we would say the one process is like a bulk-based or high volume for high volumes or processes that do not involve any user interaction, and it completely works in the background. So documents are automatically archived based on the creation date or age of the document, or any other property, so to say, which we could rely on or relate to. But typically is the age of the document. And the other, we call it process documents. That's the user-based process with the user interactions, or archiving of a document is triggered by user interaction. For example, explicitly by clicking the archiving button or changing the status. So before we come to the demo here, that would be the example for all Azure-based, and that's pretty much the same setup, enhanced with the storage as well as the SQL server on the right, and the TR Connect as well as TR Content Server CMIS app is a container-based approach. So let's continue with the demo. So I have prepared one site called TR SharePoint, and within it's the document library. And what you see here is I have already uploaded a document called biplane and archived this, but I can do this again. So I just upload a file, let's say demo. So far so good, nothing special as you are used to within SharePoint. And then I can select this one. And here I have this additional action button, which comes from our TR SharePoint app. So I can really archive it now. Just confirm that. And now it's archived. It will take a few seconds because it's a quite, let's say, slow demo environment. I have prepared here. What is taking place is it's pushed via the workflow, the Power Automate flow, towards TIA Connect, and TIA Connect is connected to the TIA CMIS archive. Finally, it's archived. So we have a mistranslation here. It says archiviert, archived. And now you see it's not the PDF icon anymore, but a link icon, meaning that the content is not longer in SharePoint itself, in the SharePoint space, but in the external archive space. In this setup, it's really also in Azure. So there's not only the compliance functionality or the compliance reason for storing documents externally, but also data management. Because from our perspective, the SharePoint disk is quite huge, but limited at the end, and extra volume is quite expensive for SharePoint. And volumes are increasing quite fast in some environments and some customers, and they are really interested to have not only external archiving and compliance perspective, but data management and externally storing those documents. I just simply can access this document by double click. It's externally opened into another tab, but because it's a PDF here. And that's it. It's archived now. I have the opportunity to share a link or this document as mentioned. Let's say the expiration date is tomorrow, and I create the link, and then the link can be copied and sent to another colleague or someone who has access to the environment. So this user has limited access then. It's sharing document externally, meaning external departments or colleagues. That's one feature. Another feature is taking the metadata here. Let's say enter a customer number 1234 plus I'll enter the retention date and saving it until tomorrow. And now I update this document in the archive, and then the information is pushed to the archive, and the document now is locked until tomorrow for any update and deletion. We can try this out here. The document first will disappear, but then it says the retention policy is on, the expiry date is tomorrow as set, and then it's again here, so it's unable to be deleted. The second one is I haven't set any retention here, so this one is deletable, and we'll try this one. And then it's really also deleted from the archive in this specific case because it's unlocked in the archive. So that's the interactive way of storing documents from SharePoint. We have like a config page after the installation, so we can really decide on where to put it, how the prefix should be in the repository. So you can really use several different sites within one archive, and it's not mixed here. The content is not mixed, and that's quite easy setup from my perspective. And last, there just give you a short information about the flows we have here. So we have different flows which can be consumed here for archiving itself, for sharing, update, what I just did, and delete. And we also have like a scheduled auto archiver for archiving the documents based on the creation date, for example, automatically. So these are the implemented flows we deliver. Of course, they can be changed, they can be extended, or even consumed within other flows. That's the SDK idea. All right, so that was the demo case, and just finalize by giving you a short outlook. What's next? So there are several new features we will provide in the next year. So versioning is one of this. So you can decide to have or archive several versions. Yeah, example, each major version, for example, could be archived. New versions can be edited at any time. So it's more like checking in this one major version and still continue to work with the file instead of replacing it in total, what we just saw. Second enhancement would be sub-documents searchable in SharePoint lists. So let's say SAP SharePoint connectivity in both directions. So SAP stored documents will be then available from SharePoint and the other way around. So SharePoint documents, for example, needs to be enriched with the business object, the customer number, or whatsoever, and then linked in SAP for accessing the document from SAP. And the third enhancement or new feature will be in this area of input management. We have an input management tool called Document Router for SAP since many years, and we also think of implementing the SharePoint connection here, so we can do mass archiving and linking in SharePoint from external sources like output management systems or other incoming documents from service providers whatsoever. And this will be implemented in our component document router for all the input management here. So that's it for now. Are there any questions in the chat, Katharina?
So thank you very much, Benny, to give us these insights about our TIA connector for SharePoint. And yeah, now it's time to put questions in the chat. If you didn't do this during the demo. And we have one question. So does the TIA connector work on SharePoint on-prem?
No, it's only built for SharePoint Online. And we don't have plans to also enable SharePoint on-prem. I think it's quite clear that everyone needs to move to the cloud, and Microsoft is also interested in that. So that's why we decided only to provide it for SharePoint Online.
Okay, thank you very much. So there are other questions you're interested in. So if you don't have questions now, and maybe you think a little bit about this, please don't hesitate to contact us also on the email address marketing@kgs-software.com. And yeah, if there are no questions left, then thank you very much for joining our webinar today. Thank you very much to Benny for introducing us to TIA Connector. And yeah, have a pleasant rest of your day. Thank you very much. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.